CJ Flyer back with another YouTube video. Now that the Luka Doncic trade has gone down, it appears dominoes are starting to fall. We have another blockbuster trade, a three-team deal that sends De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs and Zach Lavine to the Sacramento Kings, reunited with DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento. The full trade right here. Spurs getting De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. They had to give up Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and I believe Kevin Huerter is on the Kings. So they didn't have to give up a lot as far as players. The Spurs definitely doing this in a win now type of situation, but also like win for the future as well. You know, De'Aaron Fox will be around for a little while. You got Wemby there. They're building up a solid core. Chris Paul is now likely going to be coming off the bench, I'd imagine. Maybe they'd throw Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox on the court at the same time. I'm not sure. But that being said, looking at where the Spurs are in the standings as we are talking here, they're currently 12th in the West, which doesn't sound great. But when you look at the context of the situation, the Kings arguably got worse in this trade as far as, you know, winning now, so to speak. I imagine they'll fall out of the play-in. Warriors have been struggling. The Suns, I mean, they just lost to the Blazers last night. The Mavs, as I guess now a former Mavs fan, do I need to say more? I think the Spurs are making moves here that's going to send them at the very least into the play-in range, if not higher up into the Western Conference standings. And even if they don't make it very far this year, they are built for the future with a solid core in De'Aaron Fox and Wembanyama. So pretty exciting for the San Antonio Spurs. For the Sacramento Kings, it just feels like another move that kind of keeps them in the realm of mediocrity. Not really surprised. It's just Sacramento doing Sacramento things, unfortunately for them. I'll be curious to see if they make any other moves. You know, obviously the Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan pairing, it sort of worked in Chicago until they had the injury bug, you know, Lonzo Ball getting out and whatnot. It was a few years ago. They were actually the 1 seed for the first half of the season until that injury bug did, in fact, hit them and cost them that number 1 seed in the East. So perhaps they think they got something there. I'm not sure. But the Kings are receiving quite a few first-round picks in addition to Zach Lavine. So it's not like that's all they got in this trade. They got these 3 first-round picks, the 2025 Charlotte pick, that ought to be really valuable. 2027 San Antonio Spurs pick, might not be valuable. And then the 2031 Minnesota pick could be valuable, depends. We'll see what happens in the Anthony Edwards saga. Timberwolves not exactly looking like they're going to be repeating to get to the Western Conference Finals this year, but who knows? Anything could happen. So looking at this trade overall, really like it for the Spurs, of course. I think it's a great move by them. They took a chance, an opportunity to bring in a great player at the right time and giving up some draft capital to do it. They've already used some of their draft picks to get some solid young guys, and they got that veteran leadership in Chris Paul. So they got a decent core. I'd expect them to make a push for the play-in, if not for a low playoff seed for this season. And even if they don't make it very far this season, they're set for next season. So that's pretty cool by them. For the Bulls, they get their own 2025 pick back. They're pretty much in full tank mode, aren't they? They're currently the 10th seed in the East, but you know they're 3 of 7 in the or 3 out of 10 in the last 10 games here as far as wins go. You'd imagine the Sixers would want to try to make a push up. The other teams, the Raptors, Nets, Hornets, Wizards, don't really have much incentive. So I don't really see the Bulls doing this for a win now position. It looks like they picked up some solid role players. You know, Kevin Huerter, good 3-point shooter. You got Zach Collins there, Trey Jones. But this feels like they're just getting Zach Lavine off the books, and hey, they get a draft pick for it. Better than nothing, right? So, and then they get some decent players that'll bring people to the seats. Just a classic Reisendorf move there. So there you go. Overall, pretty solid trade. Kings getting some good draft capital. They're going to bring in some players. I don't think they're a good playoff team or a playoff team at all at this point. But hey, I like this for the Spurs. Pretty exciting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and click one of the videos on your screen now for some more NBA discussion.